How's it going, everybody? I'm the BTC Reaper. My goal on this channel is to teach you how to reap the rewards of trading, whether the price is going up or down. Apparently, I didn't have my audio on, had some issues with it just before. But over on total for the daily, we are starting to pull back. We did hit our support level, and we did try to break toward the top of our golden pocket area on our Fibonacci retracement zone. So remember, that is a very strong area of support resistance. Us making a bounce off it could be very positive for us. We will have to watch the lower time frames very close though. Our momentum is starting to round away. We do have lower highs here that can create bearish divergence. That bearish divergence could end up breaking us down if we're not careful. But remember, you will see those in bullish markets. Just like when we had the bear market start, we had bearish indicators, but we kept bullish indicators, but we kept breaking down. So sometimes the indicators will lead you astray there. Our stochastic, our double line, is starting to round away. We do have our orange above blue. That is causing our red line, our RSI, to pull back. Remember, this is on our Market Cipher B edits and our Market Cipher A free version. These are both free. You don't have to pay for them. And it is on TradingView, which is also free. So our VWAP is this yellow wave, is starting to round away. As that yellow wave pulls back and breaks through the zero, we will see the momentum, our blue wave, start to round away as well. If you're just setting up, it may be purple. You can change that. Our momentum does have a red dot on it due to the VWAP breaking down. If our VWAP gets consistent lows here and then weaker highs, we will have a new bearish trend that would cause momentum to round away, and that will weaken our money flow, which is hard to see right now. If you look here, it says green wave. It can turn red if it's bearish, green if it's bullish. Bullish meaning it'll go up, red meaning it's likely going to come down. So over on the 4 hour, we do have a manipulation X. We did make a bit of a consolidation range, but we got this manipulation X. Our VWAP was favoring bearish, momentum was coming down. Those were the things to pay attention to. That did give us that push down to our 300 EMA. So what we need here in order for us to continue with bullish momentum is to break this resistance area and hold our 300 EMA. If we can't do both of those, we likely would continue away and break lower. We could fill this wick, and if we're not careful, we could push down to the bottom of that golden pocket zone. Remember, we show you how to set all this up in our Master in the Trade playlist. Our stochastic is starting to sell off, causing RSI to pull back. Our VWAP, our yellow wave, is getting lower lows with weak highs. It does have a bit of bearish favor, that is causing momentum to pull back. As that momentum pulls back, money flow will start to weaken. So I would exercise caution. We need some strong green candles if we're going to prevent a breakdown here. Over on the 2 hour, we did break that 300 EMA. Not very good, so I would exercise caution. But remember, a quick move up is usually retraced. We had a quick move up here, and a quick move down is usually retraced too, excuse me. RSI is pulling back. Stochastic, got something in my throat there. Stochastic does want to round away. VWAP is starting to reject that neutral, and momentum is starting to push down. If that VWAP does continue to reject this neutral, momentum will continue lower, and our money flow could start to break. I'm just going to die on you guys here. Over on the 1 hour, we are starting to pull back again after breaking above this support area. Right now, if we can now hold above that 674, then break above and hold that 300 EMA, it's very likely we could end up rolling over, so I would exercise caution. But again, this was a quick move down in response to a quick move up, so we may end up with a quick move up again. Just watch very close. What you want to see is this VWAP hold more bullish. If our VWAP starts to round away and reject this neutral here, momentum will pull back, money flow will weaken, and price action will break down as well. Over on Bitcoin dominance for the daily, we did whipsaw up and then we are pulling back a bit. This is creating a bit of a long upper shadow candle. It's not very textbook because the candle body would have to be, you'd have to stack two candle bodies on top of each other to equal the candle wick. We don't quite have that big of a wick right now, but we could end up pulling back. We did attempt to push up, fill this gap up here, but now we do have that gap below us, so it's likely we could roll over, fill that gap, and bounce forward. Again, that would be the ideal move, to fill our lower gaps first, because then if we get that break up, then we can sustain. That's what we mentioned on Bitcoin futures when we covered the gaps the other day. Stochastic does want to round away here. RSI is trying to push up. VWAP is bullish. Momentum wants to gain strength. And our money flow is trying to push up. Man. Over on Bitcoin futures for the daily, we did reject our bull flag possibility. We did pull back to the top of our symmetrical triangle and we retested it. Again, that flag was very low on lower time frames. This triangle is on higher time frames. That shows how a lower time frame pattern can be invalidated, but higher time frames are a little more strong. That's why it's more important to watch daily in the 4 hour. The 1 and 2 hour you watch when you're more experienced and used to it. We did try to hit that value area high, and we did get rejected. If we continue to reject from here and we break through our triangle, we will see that 65.5. However, we did push down to our 69K and made that retest, and so far we are holding. If we can make a bounce here, we could continue forward and see that strong run up. However, if we see that rejection of 69K here, that's where we're going to get our breakdown. Our RSI is pulling back, Stochastic's starting to sell off. Momentum does want to round away. VWAP has lower highs and it wants to break that neutral, so exercise caution. And the money flow is pulling back. So overall, the bears do look like they have a big control here. Over on the 4 hour, we do have a long lower shadow with a manipulation X. So two conflicting things. Manipulation X's do want to bring you down, but long lower shadow candles want to push you up. Our momentum does have bearish divergence. VWAP has lower lows with a weak high, so I would watch that VWAP close. If it does not reverse soon, our momentum will continue to pull back, and the money flow could start to break down, which would lead the daily lower. Over on the 2 hour here, we are trying to bounce off this purple EMA. We did push down toward our 250 EMA, that gray EMA, but we did manage to make a bounce. If we can sustain this bounce here, we could see a continued push forward. This would be a retest of our triangle, and then give us that break up. Stochastic does want to round away. RSI is pulling back. VWAP does have lower lows. Momentum is pushing down, so I would exercise caution. If that VWAP does not reverse, momentum will continue lower, and our money flow could break down and lead the higher time frames lower. Over on the 1 hour, we did retest that 300 EMA. We are trying to make a bounce. RSI is pulling back, Stochastic's dropping down. That VWAP is in the bearish territory. Momentum's pushing down, and the money flow wants to reject. If that VWAP continues lower here, momentum will continue to break down, and the money flow could start to weaken on those higher time frames. What we need is to hold our 300 EMA and push up. Otherwise, if we reject the CMA and continue lower, we could continue to break down here. Over on Bitcoin for the daily, we are still within our flag possibility. We did end up breaking down away from that double top possibility after we invalidated it. That's why we left it, because there was still that chance to reject the top of our pattern. Excuse me real quick, gotta wipe my nose. Sorry about that. Nose is real runny today. Must be from being outside and being by all the pollen. Stochastic is starting to round away. RSI is pulling back. Momentum is rounding. That VWAP does want to break down, so I would watch that VWAP close. If it continues to break down, momentum will round away. That red dot will cause our money flow to drop, and we could see an invalidation of our bull flag possibility. Over at the floor hour, apparently there's a fourth hour, we are starting to see that momentum drop down. Stochastic wants to pull back. RSI is weakening. VWAP does have lower lows. We did get a higher high, but that high was not very long. We did kind of peek into the bullish territory, and then we got rejected. If we cannot sustain the bounce off these EMA levels, we could end up breaking to the bottom of our channel and breaking lower. However, if we do bounce off the bottom of our channel, that's what you want to watch. If we can bounce off either the bottom or near the 300 EMA, if we can bounce at either of those points, we could still run up. Momentum does want to pull back. RSI is pulling back. Stochastic is weakening, and the VWAP is in a bearish trend. So overall, exercise caution, but there is a chance of a bounce. Over on the 2 hour, we did pull back to that 250. We did make a bounce with this wick. This wick is a long lower shadow, and it's not being followed by strong green candles. That's a little concerning because that could end up breaking us down and invalidating us lower. So we will delete this double top. We did kind of trade sideways, tried to hit the top of our channel, and we pulled back. We did mention to watch out for that. That could end up breaking us lower. We did push down to the 300 EMA. We did hold. So overall, we did hold our supports on both Bitcoin and futures. We do need to continue forward and make a strong bounce here. Otherwise, the bears will gain control and push us down to that 65.5 area. Stochastic does want to pull back here. That's our double line. As it pulls back, that RSI will weaken. VWAP has lower lows, that yellow wave. As that VWAP curls away from the zero level, we can see it favor more bearish, which would cause our blue wave, our momentum, to continue to weaken. As momentum starts to come down, then money flow will start to sell off, representing people selling the asset more than they're buying. Over on the 1 hour here, we are trying to make a decent bounce off that 300 EMA. I would watch if we can break through our green. If we cannot break through and hold that green EMA, we could end up rejecting this EMA and pushing lower. At that point, we could end up breaking the bottom of our flag if we do not get a strong bounce off of it. Momentum is heavy in the bearish territory. VWAP did break down, but it's trying to break back up, so watch that VWAP close. We need strong highs with bullish favor, otherwise momentum will continue to favor bearish, and that money flow will end up breaking down then. So over on graph for the daily, we did push down to that 250 EMA. We are trying to make it bounce forward, so this could be positive. Again, we need more bullish momentum though. RSI is pulling back, stochastic's rounding, VWAP is pushing down, momentum's weakening due to the VWAP weakening, which is causing money flow to weaken as well. Over on our 4 hour, we did reject that EMA band, and we are rejecting pretty brutally. You can see just one big red candle. Remember, a quick drop down can be retraced by push up though. RSI is pulling back, stochastic's weakening, VWAP is in the bearish territory. We do have weaker highs with consistent lows, creating a bearish trend, causing momentum to pull back and weakening that money flow, so I would exercise caution. Over on the 2 hour, we are starting to consolidate. This would be a very loose consolidation, but if we do continue to consolidate here, we could make a bear flag, and that bear flag could end up dropping us lower and filling this wick. Stochastic does want to pull back. RSI is weakening due to our stochastic favoring more bearish. VWAP is breaking into the bearish territory. We do have a lower low, and we are coming up to possibly reject. If we reject, we will get a lower high. It would then cause momentum to pull back, and money flow could pull back, remaining in the bearish territory and weakening those higher time frames. Over on the 1 hour, we are trying to run up and consolidate, so that's a little counter to the 2 hour. We could make a slight bull flag here, but that would not be a very strong one. RSI and stochastic are flat. VWAP is just as flat. Momentum is in the bearish territory, so if that VWAP does not break for a bullish trend soon, that momentum could remain bearish, money flow would weaken, and we could see those higher time frames break down still. So overall, I would exercise a bit of caution, but we are holding on the support levels we have mentioned. Over on Ankr, we did push down to that 37.67, so hopefully when we mentioned that one, you weren't caught off guard and you were watching for that. That is right below that, or right above that value area low, sorry. So that's right above that fixed range volume profile area where we do have that calculated range. That is a strong support level. Again, more on that in the Mastering the Trade series. Stochastic does want to round away here. RSI is pulling back. VWAP does want to break that neutral. Momentum is rounding with a red dot due to our VWAP breaking down, and that is causing our money flow to pull back. So if that VWAP continues to break our neutral, momentum will continue to round out. Money flow will remain more bearish, and that will give us the possibility to break that 34.85. And if we cannot hold that level, we do have a consolidation range right around our 31.75. And then our next level right around there would be 25.23. If we broke any lower than that, that would be a pretty bad move, and the rest of the market likely would start to push down as well. Over on the 4 hour here, we are trying to make a bounce of our 40.49, so that is positive. We do need to continue bullish momentum and break through that 300 EMA soon and hold. Otherwise, the bears could gain control and push us down. We do have slightly lower highs with lower lows, and they're not very well connected, making a descending channel. That descending channel, unlike a descending channel, this like falling channel where the highs and lows don't connect very well, creates more of a bearish environment where when the highs and lows do connect, that creates a straight channel that could push you up. Again, we do cover that in the Mastering the Trade, so if that's confusing, we cover it a little slower there. RSI is pulling back. Our stochastic is dropping that double line. As that double line pulls back, that RSI will weaken and bring price action lower. So I would watch for a bounce here. If they can bounce, we could continue forward. Our VWAP does have lower lows. That is that yellow wave. As that VWAP continues to pull back here, we could see that momentum continue lower. And as that momentum continues lower, our money flow could go from being this green wave into the red, giving us a trend reversal. And if we get a trend reversal into the red, that would give us a bearish trend, meaning we could continue lower. Over on the 2 hour, we did reject that 300 EMA after trying to break up and hold. So that shows why that EMA level is a critical range to watch and why you should use it. Our RSI does want to pull back. VWAP does have lower lows. So if we reject for a lower high, we will have a bearish trend. That bearish trend could cause our momentum to continue lower, and that would cause our money flow to break down as it's clinging to the bullish territory right now. Thanks for watching. Let me know if you want to see anything else, or if you're confused, drop some in the comments. Hopefully I can see the comments. I don't really have anything popped up though. Our 1 hour, we are trying to push up. We are trying to hold above our 40.49, so we need to hold this and break forward toward that 42.89. If we can't break that range, we have no chance of hitting the 300 EMA, and we could see the bears still gain control. So I would exercise caution. Watch for us to start holding above these EMAs. Our VWAP is kind of rounding away. It's trying to break bullish, but it's not really having much luck. If that VWAP rejects here, momentum will remain bearish, and that money flow will break down. With the other time frames being a little on edge, that could bring those lower as well, and that would set us up for another strong move down, which, remember, any quick move up or down usually is retraced. This move up or move down right now is in response, probably due to some quick moves up. So we have had some quick moves up in the past. You do usually retrace those. We did retrace it back here, but then we shot up very quick again. So we just had a lot of volatility, and usually volatility is retraced. That's the whole point there. So over on XRP, we are trying to break the bottom of our channel, and we did push down toward that 44-cent area, but we managed to hold, so that is very positive for us. RSI is pulling back though, stochastic is weakening. That VWAP is in the bearish territory. Momentum is rounding away with a red dot, so watch that VWAP close. If that VWAP continues to drop here, momentum will continue lower, and that money flow will remain bearish. Over on our 4 hour, we did hit that 250 EMA. We got rejected, broke our EMA band, and then we just dropped very volatilely. That is one big God candle there. So usually this would be retraced by some green momentum. So if we can push up, we are kind of back in this channel. We can zoom up here, kind of pull this over. We would be retesting our channel right now. If we can break back into our channel and hold, we would have a chance to push back to our 54. However, if we reject this 50-cent area, that's both a psychological area and the bottom of our channel, we could end up breaking lower, retesting that 44, and remember, our 38-cent is our next support level. RSI is pulling back, stochastic does want to round away, VWAP has lower lows with a weak high, causing momentum to pull back, and if that does not reverse, our money flow will continue lower as well. Watch lower time frames here, just like everything else. We are seeing the lower time frames kind of carry what's going on. Over on the 2 hour, we did try to push up above our EMA band. It was very tight. We did mention several times when these EMA bands get tight, you do see some volatility. We did try to push up. We did not hold that push up, and we did start to slide. When you saw this manipulation X, you could have taken that as your hint that we could end up selling off. And if you did, this time it did play out. Usually they do wait till they have pairs. So sometimes they can play out right away. Sometimes they don't do anything. Here it did nothing. Here it actually moved. Here it moved. So it's not 100% guaranteed, just like any other kind of indicator. RSI does want to pull back. Stochastic is starting to round away. Our VWAP is favoring bearish, and the momentum is pulling back due to the VWAP favoring bearish. So if that VWAP rejects for a lower high, money flow will start to pull back, and that will weaken those higher time frames. Over on the 1 hour, we do have a big consolidation after pushing up, so this could create a bull flag, but as this push up wasn't very big, that bull flag wouldn't really push us up very much higher than that blue EMA level right here. If we can break and hold that EMA level, then we would have a chance at our 300 EMA, but that is a far shot right now. Stochastic does want to round away. RSI is pulling back. That VWAP does want to round away. Momentum is in the bearish territory, and the money flow is trying to reject. So if that VWAP gets a lower high, momentum will remain bearish, and the money flow will reject, weakening those higher time frames. So last but not least, since I don't see any chats, hopefully I'm not just missing them, but we do have ALGO. We did hit that 300 EMA, we rejected it, and we did push down to our 1618 like we have been warning about. RSI is pulling back, stochastic is rounding away. VWAP does have lower lows, momentum is breaking down, and the money flow wants to reject. So overall, the daily doesn't look very positive, but we did manage to hold that support level. Just like everything else, that was a very strong support. So if we can get back above this 300 EMA, we could try to run forward. I am going to delete this descending channel as it's no longer valid. You can see we did try to manipulate ourselves up, try to hit our EMA. We rejected that EMA, and that's where we saw that strong breakdown. Stochastic is pushing down. RSI is weakening. That money flow is starting to break bearish as that VWAP is heavy in the bearish territory. We did try to get a run in the bullish territory, but didn't last long enough to bring the momentum very high, which caused that money flow to remain bearish. Over on the 2 hour here, we did reject that EMA. You can see that breakdown here. We have a bit of a rounding top. Then we followed it with a strong red candle. Right now, we are consolidating. This consolidation after a breakdown does create a bear flag, and this bear flag, the channel would be very loose, so I'm not really going to draw it right now. But this bear flag would have more of a breakdown point because the breakdown zone was longer than that breakup on XRP. RSI does want to pull back, stochastic is starting to sell off, VWAP is in the bearish territory, and the momentum is starting to pull back as a result. If that VWAP does not break through the neutral and hold, our money flow is going to start to reject, our money flow will reject, and then the bears will gain a hold of us. Over on the 1 hour, we do have that consolidation. So again, this could create a bear flag. It may be a little easier to draw here. We will take the wicks and the bodies in this case because it is such a narrow channel. Then you would go from the top to your support level, apply that down, and that would give us a break of that 1618. Again, our 1412 could be a next support. If we do not hold here, that would be our 1565. Momentum is in the bearish territory. VWAP does want to reject, so watch that VWAP close. If it rejects here, momentum will remain bearish, money flow will break down, and those higher time